Hello again there, this is seiterarch, and today I've slightly changed my schedule. Originally this mini-series on Pyrotechnics was planned to be about 3 episodes, but having worked on some of the more complex pieces now for the displays, I've decided that each of them really needs an episode to itself. As you can see, there's some, well, you might not be able to see, but over here I've been working on night flowers, and these are incredibly complicated. That's a slightly destroyed one because they're a bit awkward to do. But yes, this episode is going to be focusing on this piece, and this is my modular sequencer for fans. Well, I'll just show you what it does instead of telling you, because that doesn't really tell you much. So here we shall light the fuse, and hopefully this works. Yeah, isn't that nice? So, what this does is basically it's a sequence of as many of these modules as you want. There's 2 delays, one to light the propellants at the bottom here, and one to light the shot at the top. As long as you keep this delay exactly the same as this delay for each of them, it doesn't matter whether they're different between one module to the next, it will work. So each of the modules is just basically a way to power it, and then at the end here we've just got a 40 tick transition from the bottom to the top, so that the top gets powered at the right time. I shall now do a little tutorial to show you how to build each of these modules. Tutorial then, we are using wool because there aren't any dry launches in this design, so there's no need to use obsidian unless you're in the process of creating it, in which case accidents will probably happen, and it's easier to use obsidian when you're working things out, because it will leave a frame behind even if your redstone gets blown off. So white is going to be wiring here, and we'll just do this. We've got repeaters down there and wires, and then torches here, and then another little bit coming out here, which is the connecting fuse to link it up to the previous one. I'm going to set the timer to 8 because I can. It can be anywhere between 1 and 8 at the moment. You could expand it to make it more. Next we're going to have the charge tank, which I'm doing in blue. This is where everything will be exploding, hopefully, as long as nothing goes wrong, that is. You see the bottom ones are powered by these repeaters, and then I do have my reach extended using single player commands at the moment to 10 because it makes things easier and it allows me to copy, which is really important when you're doing big repetitive stuff to stop you from getting incredibly bored. But I'm not doing it for the tutorial because that would nullify the entire purpose of the tutorial. Okay, so that's the tank complete. We shall put our water in the end here. You notice we left it one longer, and then we have a 5 wide by 2 high tank, and then we use this to power these. Now we're going to set these repeaters to 2 ticks because there's 2 torches, so that'll be 2 ticks for the torches and 2 ticks for the repeaters, so the top and bottom layer here will be powered at the same time. Next we're going to use orange to create a ring above the blue, and this is where the shot is stored, where you place it and where it is fired. Now the link on from the last one is here in this case. Got to make sure that it's exactly the same as the one we've set down there, so it's 8, which is right. And then wire down here. Definitely don't wire onto that. You can get rid of that if you want, because if you wire onto that it'll fire much too early and you won't get anything flying. You'll just get a lot of TNT exploding for no reason. Okay, so that's a single module already done, and I shall stop here and speed up the video as I repeat this, and I'm going to make it 5 modules long for this one. Okay. Okay, that's the cells done. Just turn off the rain. Because it's annoying. Right, so the next thing we need to do is to hook up the bottom to the top, as it were. So, what we do is we take 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 there, and we put 4 tick delays on each of these. Don't want to go beyond the end of it. And we do that, and this will turn the signal around so we can go in the other direction now. That's another 4. We don't really need that many actually, we'll just put 3 on there. And then turn the signal around again. Because now it's all the way up here. We don't particularly want to be sending it too far because there's no real need to. Make sure not to trigger the first set of explosives with this while it's still here. That's a pretty important thing. So we've got 9 down there, we add another 1. At full, that's the 40 tick delay, and then we'll add another 1 tick in because there's a 1 tick delay on all of these. And then pass this down there. Okay, connect this up to here, and now if we get a switch out, that was one thing we did forget. No, we'll use a button actually. If we press this button, you see it lights up all of the bottom ones, and then it lights up all of the top ones in order. So it's ready. We shall just load it up now. TNT is another thing I forgot. How could I forget TNT? That's a silly thing to forget. Oh, there wasn't enough space anyway. So as standard, I use 6 charges in each because that sends it up generally to a distance where you can still hear it exploding at the top. I will put a 10 charge one in here though, just to demonstrate a couple of these. You can put between 5 and 10 charges into these. 5 charges sometimes looks like it might be a bit too risky, I'm not sure, I've not tested it enough to check, but it does come down very low, just above head height if you do 5 sometimes, and it has to be directly centered under the charge. 6 is safe, and 10 generally sends it out of earshot and sometimes out of sight. So what shall we do? We can, let's have it spread, so we'll start there and then go like that. I know, we'll do that, and then, I don't know, just send out a fan of them here. Okay, so if we fire this off now, normally you'd run a fuse up from the other end because it's nicer for them coming towards you, though you can have them going away from you. And there we go. As you see the explosions from the last ones, but you don't hear them go off because they are so far away. They're over 150 blocks away from you by the time they explode. It really does send them a long way. So yeah, that is the tutorial for this, and I shall show you a couple of displays now that I've done with them over there. Okay, here I have a setup with my modular sequencer. I have mirrored it so that we have 2 of them. As you can see, this is the original one. Each has 16 cells. I've given every single cell a standard 6 charge in the middle because we want to see the explosions at the top, and as you can see I've got them going in a bit of a wavy line. They'll run from this end towards the platform over there. The gold is just the fuse and the iron over there is just the platform. And other than that, the only difference I have is that I've set all of the delays to 2, so this should hopefully be quite fast and we should get quite a nice effect from it. So without further ado, here goes. Oh, if I can hit the button, that is. We'll go up a bit. I know. Now, wasn't that pretty? That turned out better than I expected. Okay, I am going to show you one more of these displays this time, but before I do that, I'm going to show you how to unlock the signal from it, because the signal locks out after each firing. You can't just load it up with TNT again. If you do, it'll just do this and instantly ignite it, because all of this, because this is so compact, it forms several loops. So what you have to do is you have to break one of these redstones somewhere here between this and this. So if we just break one of those and do the same on the other side, just not one that's touching one of these blocks here, because that's where the loop's formed, and we wait a little while, and there we go, and the top will dissipate the charge now. Then we just reform that. I could do this with a piston, to be honest, but you'd have to leave the piston out for a long time, and it's just as easy to do it like this. So I'm going to refill it now. I'm going to set the delay between each of them to 3 ticks this time, and we'll try a different pattern out. Okay, this time we have gone for 2 double waves. It's quite nice to have both of the launchers running at exactly the same thing, and then we've got some funky stuff going on at the end here with lots of explosions towards us. And we'll just wait for the moon to get a bit higher, oh no, we've got rid of sunset now. Okay, let's try this one out, and this will be the end of the video once I press the button. Goodbye.